In Jesus' name, amen.
Let's do the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of minutes for November the 11th and 20th, December the 2nd, the 5th, and the 11th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? I call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and I as Vice Chairman vote yes. We'll have a report of the county officials.
District 2 none at this time.
District 3 has none. I just wish the best of a new year for each and every Saluda citizen we have, so thank you.
I have nothing this time.
And I as Vice Chairman, I appreciate everybody coming out. This is the first one of the year. Next, we'll have a public hearing. We'll recognize Emergency Management Director, Josh Morton, to provide a brief overview of the mitigation planning process. Mr. Josh.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. So, as part of the emergency management program, we are required by the federal government to submit a hazard mitigation plan to FEMA for their approval every 5 years. Our last plan was submitted in 2015, so we are due for our renewal. We worked on updating the plan last year, which included updating our hazard profiles, as well as our hazard vulnerability analyses, and reviewing the projects that are in the plan. What this plan basically does is it identifies the threats to Saluda County from natural hazards, and then identifies potential projects that could be taken to lessen the severity of the impact on the county. The reason that we have to put these projects in here is if we were to apply for federal hazard mitigation grants, those projects would have to be pulled from the plan. Now, we can update it at any time during the planning process. We don't have to wait 5 years to add a project to the plan. But we try to identify as many potential projects with each update as we can. So again, this is just an update to the plan that was done in 2015. No major changes other than our hazard profile did change just a little bit. The biggest change being that flooding moved up on our hazard profile after the 2015 flood. But that's really all I have unless there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We didn't have anyone to sign up for the public hearing, so we'll close the public hearing. Now we'll go to new business. We'll recognize Assistant Emergency Management Director, Ms. Jill Warren, for ordinance number 01-20. Ms. Jill.
This ordinance comes as a request from the Airport Commission because the Airport Commission is sort of specialized, it deals with aviation. We find it hard to find replacement people to serve on the commission when their term expires. And so when we get in the middle of FAA projects, usually we'll have an FAA project start and then Airport Commission members going off, so we'll be in the middle of a project and these Airport Commission members are going off and we're trying to get new ones on. So we are proposing that the terms be extended to 5 years to serve on the Airport Commission.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the first reading on ordinance number 0-1-20 and ordinance to amend section 2-15, 2-151A of the Codes of Ordinance, Saluda County, South Carolina, to amend the number of year terms of the Saluda County Airport Commission. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
How long is the term now? 3 years?
Three.
3-year terms?
It's getting hard to get people to serve on this airport commission, so we have to use what we have, and we're just gonna keep you a little bit longer on this commission. I'll call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and I as Vice Chairman vote yes. The motion carries. Next, we recognize Emergency Management Director, Mr. George Martin, for consideration to enter into an agreement with the Saluda County School District regarding emergency sheltering.
Thank you again, Mr. Vice Chairman. So before you, you have an agreement between Saluda County and the Saluda County School District to enter into an agreement for the use of their facilities as emergency shelters. This is an agreement very similar to what we've signed in the past. The primary difference being that in years past, the agreement was between the county, the school district, and the American Red Cross. The reason that this agreement is a little bit different is the American Red Cross changed the way they do their agreements last year and created a conditional agreement, which creates issues for us when we look at the reimbursement process following the federal disaster declaration. So what we've had to do is develop a separate agreement between just the county and the schools that eliminates that issue so that we can get federal reimbursement in a presidentially declared disaster. Any questions?
Questions from the council?
We can have discussion.
We'll receive this information and we'll refer it to the public safety.
That's the next one.
Okay. Council don't have any questions?
Let's make a motion. I'll make a motion that we accept the ordinance.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and I as Vice Chairman vote yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, we'll recognize Mr. Chris Poole and Mr. Glenn Davis for considerations to allow Rescue One Saluda to install a repeater system for communications on the county-owned tower located off the Baysburg Highway. Mr. Poole and Mr. Davis.
Mr. Poole's not here, Mr. Chairman, but I'm going to speak for him. Members of the council, thank you for letting me speak tonight. My name is Glenn Davis. I'm retired from law enforcement after 31 years. Most of my time was spent working for the Department of Natural Resources, along with the Marine Patrol in Lexington County. After retiring, I got involved in a small group of friends who were involved in two-way radio communication. And we formed a group called the Palmetto Central Radio Network. And we've set up some repeaters around the lake, East Columbia, and other areas in the Midlands that can be used in normal communications or during times of emergencies. This is GMRS, which is General Mobile Radio Service. It's not ham radio. This is something family members can use and communicate with each other through a two-way radio system. As y'all know, everybody has a cell phone now, but there have been several national emergencies where systems have gone down during hurricanes. They've never been really tested in ice storms or anything, but there are threats that could take systems down, including cyber attacks now that we're facing and other things. But this system that our group will set up for free will give people in the county, if they're interested in two-way radio, they can set up mobile radios, use the repeater system,
And all we're asking is if we can just set up a repeater on an available port, I think it's on the county antenna out on 178. And like I said, there will be rules to go by. It's a licensed FCC system, and just want to ask for your consideration. And I'll be glad to work with the emergency management director, you know, answering any questions with him or beyond that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any questions from the council?
No. And this is one of the
Mr. Poole, we'll refer this to the Public Safety Committee, and they will to research further on this repeater.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you all for your consideration.
Next, we'll have a recognition of recognizing the clerk of court, Ms. Sherry Cole, for the request to fill the vacant deputy circuit court clerk position.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I'm looking for council to approve filling the position of the deputy circuit court clerk that's currently vacant. This position works in the general sessions, which is criminal court, and in common pleas, which is civil court. And the court administration will be adding to this job the docketing for GS, which is currently done by the solicitor's office. They're going to have the clerk's office handle the first appearances of, so it'll add an extra burden to it. So it's a needed job, but any questions on what that position does?
I'll entertain a motion for the clerk of court to fill the vacant deputy circuit court clerk position. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
You said
Anything from
that,
Ms. Coleman?
you said this position is currently vacant? How long's it been vacant?
Since August 22nd.
What other duties does this position require?
When you say require, like what they do.
Yeah, well, you said general sessions docketing.
So they actually will work with attorneys, judges, and the court administration, and they do docketing already with the common pleas, and that's just a different. And common pleas and general sessions are different in just who you deal with. Common pleas you deal with mostly attorneys, and for general sessions you deal with a lot of solicitors and attorneys as well, and judges staff. So they just do a lot, and I don't know what else. I mean I know it sounds like just two little things, but it is a lot of work coming in the office to do.
They assist with pulling jurors at all.
They well, I pull the jurors, and then they do all the paperwork that follows the jury summons. They're in court with us, with me, and when I fill out sentence sheets, they're putting that in the computer, and making the copies for defendants or for the jail, making sure they get certified copies, probation, or making copies. It's just a busy time.
Yeah. How critical is this position to your office?
It's one of the critical ones, very critical. It's a deputy clerk position, and there is no other. Like in the family court deputy clerk, we have a family court clerk. We don't have a second position on this one. She is the one.
Okay. I would just like to say that the funds already in the FY 19 through 20 budget for this position.
That's correct.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and I as Vice Chairman vote yes. Motion carries. We'll, this time we'll recognize Mr. Paul Irvin for the request to fill the part-time assistant position in the Recreation Department. Mr. Irvin.
How y'all doing tonight?
Okay.
I'm here to ask for a part-time assistant. We've had it the last 2 years, and I'm pretty sure it's in this budget, but it basically covers, last 2 years we've been allowing, which we posted to the public, but we've been taking in high school seniors with early release that don't play a sport during this time they come in. And they work a minimum of 25 hours a week. I think $10 an hour. We got a certain amount set up that y'all could look at or whatever. And it starts March the 1st, and it goes through the end of May, and then we base it on the last 2 years, if we have all-stars, if we don't. If we have all-stars, it goes until about the end of the second week of June. The all-stars usually go that far. This person will come in and assist with grass cutting, chalking, things like that. So I'll take any questions or whatever you need.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I think you pretty well answered the questions. Yeah, they're gonna be assisting with cutting grass, chalking lines, getting things set up and ready for our young people to play. And this came about when we first started out. We started getting more and more kids, and my morning starts at 8:30, but sometimes I get that a little early during baseball. But you'd be surprised. I actually have people pulling in the parking lots at 4:50 and on the field chalking while they're warming up. So it helps out a great deal. how many kids do you have typically the past few years playing baseball?
Well, between 250, 300, somewhere in there.
That's a lot of young people.
Yeah, somewhere in there. It goes up and down. Depends on how many you have based on birthdays, how many you lose, stuff like that.
Good deal.
I would like to say that the funds are already available in the FY 19 through 20 budget for this position, grass cutting. I'll call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and I as Vice Chairman vote yes. Motion
Thank you.
carried. Next, we'll recognize Councilman Grice for his appointment to the Saluda County Tax Appeal Board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman. I make a motion to appoint Jeffrey B. Forrest of 600 Denny Highway, Saluda, to the Saluda County Tax Appeal Board with his first term expiring January 14th, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. I'll call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and I as Vice Chairman vote yes. Motion carried. Next, we'll recognize Saluda County Fire Board alternate appointment, which would be me, Vice Chairman. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Jay Crouch to serve as the alternate for Hollywood Fire Department on the Saluda County Fire Board. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and I as Vice Chairman vote yes. Motion carried. Next, we'll recognize Councilman Anderson for his reappointment to the Saluda County Planning Commission.
Mr. Vice Chairman, I thank you for recognizing me. I want to bring as a motion to reappoint George S. Todd
of Todd Surveys, Inc., located at 200 Denny Highway, Saluda, to the Planning Commission with his second term expiring August 9th, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? I call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
And I, as Vice Chairman, vote yes. Motion carried. Next, we'll recognize Councilman Butler for his reappointment to the Saluda Nursery Center Board.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Christy H. Ackerman of 685 Huddle Island Drive in Leesville to the Saluda Nursing Center Board with her second term expiring March 31 of 2021.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Discussion? I call for a vote.
Excuse me. That was he made the motion. I made the second.
I'll call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
And I, as Vice Chairman, vote yes. So the motion is carried. We don't have a long council meeting tonight, so we're gonna adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll call for a vote. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
And I, as Vice Chairman, vote yes. And we are dismissed.